Hello, everybody. Josh here, and welcome back to another episode of the Kayfabe Central podcast and another episode of Predict the Bell. Today, we will be going over AEW WrestleDream 2025. We'll be going over our predictions for WrestleDream. It is a total of 10 matches on this card, which I was just telling Stu and Rue that is pretty good for an AEW pay-per-view. Because usually it's like 15 match card or whatever. But Wrestle Dream is like is it fair to say like a B tier pay-per-view for AEW?
I would say so. Looking at the matches, some of them are a bit like they'll be good matches, but some of them are a bit like I feel bad saying meh, but I think that's just the quality of AEW. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Um I'm your host Josh. As always, joining me is Rule on Wrestling
Hey guys,
and Stu World Order.
Hello.
So we're gonna get into our AEW Wrestle Dream predictions. Before we get into that, though, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos, podcasts, and interviews that come to the channel. Subscribe to the Kayfabe Central Ko-Fi page. It's $5 minimum to subscribe to the exclusive wrestling content tier. I have not uploaded shit on there recently. It's been a couple weeks since I even posted a predictions post on there. Um, but I will try to be as consistent as I can with the Ko-Fi posts. So if you are able to, it would be greatly appreciated if you could check out the Kayfabe Central Ko-Fi page. Also check out the Kayfabe Central website. That's where I post all my written predictions, articles, coverage posts, all that good stuff is up there on the Kayfabe Central website. Check out the Kayfabe Central Discord server as well. I am rarely active in that server as well. But if you guys still want to join up that server and chat it up about wrestling with anyone that may join that server, then feel free to. There's also a non-wrestling channel as well. So if you guys want to talk about anything not wrestling related, go ahead and do just that. So that's all the self promo out of the way. Let's get into AEW Wrestle Dream. Let's start off with the tailgate brawl stuff. So it's not like necessarily a pre-show. It is in some capacity. But they are doing this for TNT. So it's not going to be like a YouTube thing or anything like that. It's like just a separate show. It has two matches on it. Um, I am confused though because are they doing a countdown as well, or are they just doing this?
uh, I'm not actually 100%. I know obviously Fall Out they did the sort of pre-recorded backstage interview thing with Renee, Brian Danielson, and RJ. So they might do something like that again.
Fair
But
enough.
this is like 0 hour as well, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Before we get into this, actually, I just want to let everyone know because I know eventually I am going to get questions as to why I haven't been posting anything about the Andrade story. That is because this is one of the most confusing fucking stories I have ever seen. I don't know what to report. I don't know what to type, and I am waiting. Um, Sean Ross is currently on call with AEW Media, which I don't have access to. So I am waiting for somebody to report what's going on because everything that I have seen, I have no clue at
look,
all.
it's very simple. It's very simple, Josh. He's left WWE, but he's not allowed to leave WWE, and he's joined AEW, and he's not allowed to join AEW. I couldn't be more simpler.
It's like so like is he still technically a WWE employee then?
Yes.
He has officially gone back to the WWE.
Has he?
He's he was WWE, then went to AEW, then went back to WWE, then went back to AEW. Now he's technically back in WWE.
And he's going to be the new leader of the Vision.
Exactly, and eventually he'll be back in AEW after a year.
A little pit stop in TNA.
Oh man, I'm gonna wait for at least one person to be like, "It's a work. This is how we get the forbidden door." Like, no, there was a cease and desist involved. I don't think that this is a work.
I
Um,
think both of
Indulges
them
the
are
cease and
ceasing and
desist.
desisting Andrade from wrestling with their company. Please don't give him back to us. We don't want him.
I'm gonna sit on Twitter and keep an eye on this because it's quite funny.
you know what, Stu? Maybe one of those UK promotions you promote, he'll go over there and wrestle.
They don't want him either.
The fact that those folk even in WWE are like, what the fuck is going on? We thought he was cool.
Oh man, it's yeah, very very confusing. Everybody else on Twitter is very confused. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna be keeping my eyes out for updates on that situation, and if I get any throughout this podcast, I will let everybody know. But with that being said, let's now get into the Saturday tailgate brawl. First, let's go to FTR taking on Jet Speed. Obviously Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. Um, Ongoing issues here for quite some time now. There was nothing with them on Dynamite. I don't know if they did anything for the last hour for Collision with these guys. Um, but I like in Canada, it's not easy to get Collision. Like I have a box where I get all the channels, and I could have easily just gone over to an American channel and clicked on TNT, but I was like, you know what? I'm probably not going to miss anything major on Collision anyway. Um, and Dynamite was fine enough. So I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Um, I think this should be a pretty fun match. They're both pretty good teams. Not pretty good. They're really good teams. All four of these guys can go in the ring. Um, I think that Jet Speed is going to pick up the win here because there's another match on the tailgate brawl that we're going to get into, and I think these two results are going to play a little bit into each other. The other match being Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron versus the Top Gods, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. We'll get into that. But I think Jet Speed is going to walk away with the win here and, have like the crowd be happy a little bit. And I think Jet Speed needs some sort of win.
I don't know. I really actually could be fair. I completely forgot about the tailgate on when I did my predictions, so just going to make up now. I agree. I think they could do it for one. Will they give it to them though? Maybe. Maybe. I'll take FTR to be different. I'm not 100%, like you said. I think it could go either way. But I think Jet Speed probably could do with a little bit of win, but whether or not I actually trust they'll give them it or not is another question. So I'll take FTR. Why not?
I'm gonna go with Jet Speed on this one. The only reason is because I think FTR have sort of had a bit of a slide, and I think they can probably continue that slide for at least one more PLE, pay-per-view, whatever they call it. And yeah, Jet Speed definitely need a win. And I really like Jet Speed, so I hope they win.
Sorry, I had to cough. But
How dare you? During my bit.
it's honestly a lot better than the first podcast I ever did for Kayfabe Central. I didn't know how to edit properly, or I guess mute myself even. So I let out a very loud burp in the middle of that podcast. Um, and so just took any professionalism that I had in that away. Um, the other match I was talking about on the tailgate brawl, though, is like I said, Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron taking on the Top Gods, is what they're calling themselves, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. I kind of like this since they've aligned themselves with FTR, so Top Guys, Top Gods. So that's kind of cool. I think Bayne and Ford are going to pick up the win here, which is why I think Jet Speed is going to win their match. Because I don't see a world in where both heels win the match on the tailgate brawl. This is to get the crowd amped up, and a babyface needs to win on the tailgate brawl. Willow and Harley, I don't see them being a tag team in the tag team title tournament. Um, the Top Gods definitely will be, and I think that they need this win in order to build some momentum. And it's very possible that they end up putting the tag titles on Bayne and Ford and I wouldn't completely be opposed to it. Megan Bayne is somebody who has a lot of potential, and she can do a lot of great things in AEW and in just professional wrestling as a whole. So I think that they could do it with a win here, the Top Gods. And I think if they were to lose to Nightingale and Harley Cameron, it would kind of take away some legitimacy that they have because Cameron and Will aren't necessarily a team. Um, I don't know if they're still going to go with the team of Harley and Mercedes for the tag team title tournament. Um, and Willow doesn't have Kris Statlander, so I don't know the teams that they're going to go with in that case, but I don't see Willow and Harley being that team. Um, so yeah, in that case, I'm going to go with the Top Gods winning this match.
Fair enough. I'll create that world that you were talking about, and I'll pick Top Gods as well, and I'll take the two heels to win because why not? I think though this one I think is more likely because of what you said. And I'd already thought about it, and you think you're totally right. And the fact that Penelope and Megan they look like they'll actually go into the tournament. And as you said, I think they have a really good chance of winning the tournament. Harley and Willow, as much as I love them both individually, I don't see them being an eventual full blown tag team. So I'll take Megan and Penelope are the Top Gods and create that horrible burning hell that you spoke about earlier.
I like a burning hell, so yeah. I really like Willow and I really like Harley Cameron. But I am more in the keep Megan Bayne strong camp. So for that reason alone, they will get to the final of the women's tag team tournament, and they'll obviously lose to whoever Mercedes Moné is tagging with at the time. So yeah, I'm going to go Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford on this one.
I'm just laughing at the thought again. It's more it's what's funny is the fact is it's generally a reality that could happen. Like, I'm not even putting it past like them.
Yeah, she has 10 belts now. We saw it on Dynamite. It's oh my gosh. I don't understand why this is even a thing. But sure.
More. We want more.
So moving on to the main card now, let's start with a trios match that we have the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP taking on the Demand, Ricochet, and the GOA. I don't fully understand why they're doing this match if they did the street fight on Dynamite already. And then we had GOA versus Lashley and Benjamin on this past episode of Dynamite. Um, it just seems like a repeat of matches that just doesn't really make any sense. I think this is just going to be as simple as the Hurt Syndicate pick up the win because they lost on Dynamite. Now, I was hoping for there to be a little bit of intrigue to this, and maybe it could still happen at the pay-per-view itself, where because MVP said he's not going to quote wrestle again. Um, so I was hoping for a chance that MVP comes out and says, I told you guys I wasn't wrestling, so here's a new member of the Hurt Syndicate who is joining Benjamin and Lashley, and it'd be whomever. Um, I may be in the odd group of saying I don't want it to be Cedric Alexander. Um, I just don't think that other than the Hurt Syndicate, I don't see him having anything to do in AEW. I think because his contract is up soon with TNA, and there's been no reports of him re-signing or thinking about re-signing. So I hope that doesn't mean that he's going over to AEW and joining the Hurt Syndicate. Obviously, it would be a little bit nostalgic for some people, but it's just not something I necessarily want to see. Um, but it could be anybody that joins the Hurt Syndicate, or it could just be we didn't have anything for either of these guys, so we're just gonna do the same match. But I think that the Hurt Syndicate are gonna win here, regardless.
Yeah, my answer's incredibly boring and along the exact same lines. Hot Syndicate lost on Dynamite, and they also lost at All Out. So I'm going to take Hot Syndicate here because I think they're losing too much, and that's not okay in my books. So very, very boring answer. I am enjoying Ricochet and the Demand. I think they are very, very fun together and I think Ricochet's doing some great work. But yeah, I can't see past the Hot Syndicate, but not winning. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think they'll win. And as you said, maybe that is that intrigue on whether or not it will actually be MVP in the match. If not, I don't know who it could be. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I've got the Hot Syndicate here.
Yeah, first of all, Cedric Alexander didn't really work out with the Hurt Business, so I don't know why he'd work out with the Hurt Syndicate. It lasted about 3 seconds. He can't do heel. He looks funny when he's trying to be scary. It's hilarious. Also, speaking of the third member of the Hurt Syndicate, what happened to the MJF thing? That was the most pointless story ever. Like everybody had a really good idea, got about a month into it, like this is a terrible idea. And we're just gonna pretend it didn't happen, really. But yeah, Hurt Syndicate win this. Because they need it more. You can't really be a Hurt Syndicate if you're not hurting anybody anymore. And the Demand have had their 2 big victories as well, so they don't need a third. Simples.
Exactly.
Yep. It's as simple as that. Yeah, they like you said, Ru, they've been losing quite a bit more than I thought they were going to be losing. Um, and if they lose here, it just doesn't look good at all. Um, I think the Demand can do with a loss here. They'll be fine. I can see GOA eventually getting tag title opportunities against Brodido down the line. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, that's
Spoiler.
um we also have I guess we're starting with a little like I don't want to say the boring matches because that doesn't put anybody over, but like the lesser excitement matches, I guess we could say. Um we have Thekla taking on Jamie Hayter. Now, I have a very like tiny rant about this because we have Blood and Guts coming up on November 12th, and we have nothing announced for it. We know that the Triangle of Madness and, Jamie Hayter and the other baby faces will be involved somehow. But there's been nothing announced for it. The teams have not been announced, and it's only a couple weeks away. And I think after this, they need to put that in place. We need to set in stone who's going to be in that Blood and Guts match, so then we can build to it. I don't want to say the build for Blood and Guts has been terrible, but it's not been good either. Um, and Blood and Guts is like a match that I actually enjoy, and I just love the chaos and the brawls, and I think we need more of that. Um, because if it's a Blood and Guts match, as good as Thekla is doing, I don't think a Titantron video is going to do it if you're building up for a Blood and Guts match. Um, but either way, Thekla and Jamie Hayter are going one-on-one. Usually in a Blood and Guts match, and I'm not saying this is going to be definitively the case, but usually the baby faces come out on top in the Blood and Guts match. So with that in mind, I think that Thekla picks up the win here over Jamie Hayter, and it gives the heels a little bit more heat going into Blood and Guts.
Yeah, my thinking about it wasn't too in depth, and that I know Blood and Guts coming up, and I said they're all going to be involved. Simple answers. I've picked Tekla here. Mainly because it gives her I would guess a big win on I can't speak PLE PPV whatever the hell you want to call it. But I think she's definitely someone who could go on to challenge Monet at some point. God knows if she'll win it. No one knows who will win against her. Yeah, I didn't even think about the blood and guts part to be truly honest, but that is a very, very good point. I'd taken and picked Tekla anyway, so I'm not changing. Yeah, I want to see her get a big win here. And just kind of continue and move forward from there.
I don't know what Blood and Guts is because I'm new to AEW, so I'm just not even taking that into any consideration. This is one of those matches where I didn't know, so I'm actually going to go and predict on who's the best wrestler. So for me, Tekla's going to win because I think she's pretty superb. And yeah, that was about as in depth as I got on that one.
We then have the tag team match for $500,000. Jurassic Express, Jack Perry and Luchasaurus are taking on the Young Bucks. Um, the Young Bucks have been they were rich at one point in time. They won the money at one point in time, but thanks to Nate Jackson, they blew all the money at the casino. So they are broke once again, and I think that's going to continue. I think that Jurassic Express is going to pick up the win here, and we're going to have the Young Bucks just clamoring more and just suffering really throughout the next few weeks of Dynamite. And also, Jurassic Express just reunited. It wouldn't make much sense for them to take a loss here. The Young Bucks are the Young Bucks. They've been putting on like really good sleeper matches on Dynamite, and just proving why they're one of the best tag teams in the world, and honestly, one of the best of all time. Um, but I think that Jurassic Express takes a win here. They need it. They just reunited. They just came back. And the Young Bucks will be fine taking a loss and still being broke.
Yeah, once again, another AEW prediction video where I'm just boring and just copy everything Josh says. But you're right though. I've been very much enjoying what the Young Bucks have been doing. I'm one of them annoying people that everyone on the IWC hates. Like, I really flip and flop with the Young Bucks. Like, they are like an incredible tag team. But sometimes I'm not always the biggest fan of their storylines or characters. But right now, I'm very much enjoying everything that's going on with them. As you said, being broke and being rich and then being broke again. And I want that to continue. I think it makes for a much more interesting story. And then on the flip side, as you said, Jurassic Express, I was so happy to see them reunite it all out. Incredibly jealous you got to see that in person.
Hmm.
I don't think they can start off with a loss here. I think they're going to win, take the $500,000. God knows what we'll do with it, but I want to see the broke Bucks continue. I've got Jurassic Express.
You know what? I'm very proud of us, as we've never had a pre-discussion about this at all, and yet with all of a sudden settled into like a turn. As in, Josh will go first, say his stuff very sensibly. Rue will come on, be slightly less sensible, but make good points, and I'll come on and just speak gibberish. So I'm always agreeing with one of you or not. And this time, sadly, I'm going to agree with both of you. But yeah, we always go first, second, and first, second, and third in the same order. And I'm very proud of us because we've never had that discussion. I digress because it's very simple. Jurassic Express have just got back together, so they're not going to start off with a loss. That was it. So I was just padding out a little bit there.
We've done so well without even meaning to.
That is a very good point, though. We never talked about the order that we go in. We just do it. We do have another tag team match, though. This one being for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Brodido, Bandido, and Brody King taking on the Don Callis families, Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada. I get so confused when typing out Okada and Takeshita names because I'm like, wait, Kazuchika Takeshita? No. Konosuke Okada? No. I get so confused sometimes, and I was like getting a headache and just typing out both names constantly on the website. But this should be a fun match. I like Brodido. This is a team that I didn't think I was going to like because I'm like, okay, this is an odd pairing. However, this is a odd match because you have Bandido, the Ring of Honor World Champion. You have Kazuchika Okada, the AEW Unified Champion. I still hate that name. And then you have Konosuke Takeshita, who just won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And so this is a very tricky situation, and I can honestly see a world in where Takeshita and Okada win this match and win the tag titles. I think that would make for an pretty interesting story since they don't get along. I found the segment with on Dynamite pretty funny where Okada turned off the TV like, oops, pressed the wrong button. But yeah, I think that it's very possible that Takeshita and Okada win. I don't think that they will, though. I'm going with Brodido to retain here. I think that Okada and Takeshita are going to get in each other's ways. Egos will collide. Um, I'm going to think that Okada takes the pin here. Takeshita has been taking many of the pins recently, and with him just winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, I think Okada can take the pin. Um, that's why this match was a little bit tricky for me to predict because I'm like, who the hell is going to take the pin here? But I think it's going to ultimately end up just being Okada. Maybe an accidental boot to the face he gets. Um, but in the end, I'm going with the Brodido to retain.
Yeah, so it's really interesting what you're saying there. The issue around who's taking the pin, because I had this exact same problem. Think about this. I said we've got the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, we have the Unified Champion. I agree, awful name. We have the ROH Champion, and then we also just have Brody King. No one in this match rightfully should probably be getting pinned. But hey ho, here we are. And as I mentioned earlier, I love a bit of chaos in my wrestling, and I love to see the world burn. And my world starts burning by having Okada and Takeshita as the tag team champions. Because I think they will just be the biggest assholes in the planet with those belts, and it will be brilliant. I do think we are going to lead down the line, no matter what. To be fair, even if they don't win, at least I feel and think anyway that Takeshita is going to be the one to eventually dethrone Okada personally. And it might happen without them winning the belts, but I think we might stick to the good old age wrestling trope of the tag team champions that can't get along. They end up, something happens, they lose the belts, and then that's where the split happens, and then we can get the one-on-one match where eventually maybe Takeshita will win. So I'm going to take Takeshita and Okada here to pick up the one. Granted, I don't know who the hell they're going to pin on the other side. But yeah, I want them to win and just let all hell commence.
Yeah, this one's a tricky one. I've gone for Okada and Takeshita because they're mint. Like they're really good. And of the unified title, unified what? What have we unified? We've just unified space
What
and
was it?
made it a belt.
What were they again? Gosh, it's the
It was the
um
International
yeah.
Championship and the Continental Championship.
Oh yeah. I was going to say the
Brilliant.
Intercontinental. That was WWE, and that was a mixture of both
That's
of
what they should have called this title.
Just
That's what they
call it
should have
that.
called it.
The unified title, brilliant. No, I've gone for Okada and Takeshita here because I don't know how much further Brodido can go. They've been a really good tag team, but they're not really a tag team. I know that sounds weird because they're tag team champions. I think Wars with the Callis family is going to be so much more interesting one on one, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to go for Okada and Takeshita just for grins, really. And as you say, we do then have the great tag team who doesn't get along, and that's always a giggle, and they're both brutal. And the Don Callis family's growing so much, it definitely needs some more gold. I mean, Mercedes Monet is going to be just going woozy backstage, seeing all the gold on show during this match. But yeah, Okada and Takeshita.
I mean, the Don Callis family are one less now, as we've learned.
Whom?
Andrade ain't coming back.
They only have 11 members now.
That's ridiculous.
Um, but I yeah, I think it's a very good possibility that Okada and Takeshita win because I can see their one-on-one match happening at Wrestle Kingdom, which is still some time away. Like 3 months away. So they could very well win the tag titles and then drop it in like December or something like that. Um, it's definitely gonna be like one of those slow burn stories where it's like they're gonna take forever to actually do the turn. Um, because of the whole Don Callis family thing. Don Callis is gonna constantly try to be the one who like calms both of them down. Um, but ultimately, I think this happens at Wrestle Kingdom. It could be for the Unified Championship, but it also could be for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I hope it's not for both. I really hope they don't go down that route. Um, and then they do something stupid like the double unified championship or some shit like that.
Let's not play that
I
game.
don't know. It was the worst thing that came to mind at first. Um, but yeah, that's the AEW Tag Team Championship match. We then have a TNT Championship match. Kyle Fletcher defending his title against Mark Briscoe. This should be a good match. Mark Briscoe has been putting on pretty solid matches. Kyle Fletcher looks like he can work with a broomstick and put on a classic. He's just been phenomenal recently. I don't think his title reign will end here. However, this is the one match on this card where I'm like obviously, like we talked about, there's other matches on this card where I'm like, okay, the title could change hands here. Um, this match is at the top of the list where I'm like, okay, I think that it's a very good possibility that Mark Briscoe wins the title here. Just because when you look at the rest of the card, it doesn't necessarily have that like feel good moment. And the only match that would have it is this match here with Mark Briscoe winning the TNT Championship. So I think it's very possible that Briscoe wins. Um, like I said, it's going to be a really good match. And they're both going to put on a show. In the end, though, I am still taking Kyle Fletcher to retain.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I can't see it coming off of KO anytime soon. You did bring up a good point there, I suppose, in the fact that, like, I mean, it could, and I think after what we just seen on Raw this past Monday, of just pulling the trigger out of buttfuck nowhere, they might do that depending on what they see and what they want from Fletcher. That's also something we'll never know and we can't predict. Maybe they see Fletcher going after Hangman literally right now, but it seems a bit odd after the previous match. So it could well happen, but I don't quite see it. I think Fletcher will retain. Love Mark Briscoe so much. I hope he gets another good showing because he's one of those folk that just always looks good when he's losing, no matter what. I mean, he looks pretty freaking good when he's winning as well. Don't get me wrong, but even when he loses, he looks really good. So I hope he gets a good showing as well. But I can't see past Kyle Fletcher winning here.
I wanted to be the one to disagree with you both here. And it's a shame that they put him in this match now because Mark Bristow? That's Eric Bristow. Mark Briscoe has obviously built up a great bit of momentum after the MJF. And I think we're going to kill that momentum straight off, which is a real shame. Because unless they've got bigger plans for Carl Fletcher, I cannot see him losing that TNT title until he's ready to go for a big title. He's too good to lose a match like this if he's not stepping straight up afterwards. And I don't think he's going to step straight up afterwards because, as you say, Rue, he's already lost to Hangman already. So it's a shame because I'd love Mark Briscoe to win this, but no, Carl Fletcher's going to win, I think.
It's also like I'm giving another reason as to why Mark Briscoe could potentially win. You look at the rest of this card and like not only the feel good moment, it's you look at the other title matches on this card and you only see one other match where it's like, okay, a title change could happen there. Um, this is the only other match where it's like, okay, maybe like if Brodido doesn't win, or if Okada and Takeshita don't win their match and win the tag titles, and Brodido retains, that leaves this match where they could just pull the trigger and have Mark Briscoe win. Um, I'm in agreement with both of you guys. I don't think Fletcher should lose yet. He definitely has world championship potential. He is definitely going to be a world champion. But I think it's going to be in like year, 2 years down the road. Not anytime soon. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Kyle Fletcher though, but I'm going to be on my toes for this match because um I think it's a good chance they pull the trigger with Mark Briscoe here. Um we then have a AEW Women's World Championship match. Kris Statlander defending against Toni Storm. This is a rematch when Kris Statlander pinned Toni in at All Out to win the title. Um, I, for some reason, enjoyed the segment that they did on Dynamite between these two and with Renee Paquette. They, for some reason, and it was just hilarious for some reason. When the interview started, I don't know if you guys watched Dynamite or not, um, but they started taking off their clothes to start this interview, and Renee had enough and threw her jacket off. I was like, "What are we doing here?" Um, Toni Storm just happens to fall in love with every single one of her opponents. And happened with Mercedes, Mina, and obviously happening with Kris Statlander. They even walked down to the ring together and agreed to have a brawl. So it's been it's been an interesting feud as it always is with Toni Storm. Um, because I like as much as I don't really like the timeless gimmick, she has moments where it's like, okay, it's kind of stupid, but it's kind of funny. Um, in terms of the match though, should be a fine match. Kris Statlander has no reason to lose here. She just won that title. And it wouldn't make any sense if they had her win the title, and had her pin Toni to just drop it back to Toni in a one-on-one match. I completely understand why they're doing this match because it's a one-on-one. Toni needs that one-on-one rematch. The only thing here is, and Toni Storm herself brought this up on Dynamite, is what does she do without that title? Because majority of the time of her time in AEW, she has been a champion. She's been AEW Women's World Champion. What does she do without it? And that's going to be the very interesting thing. I can see her maybe teaming up with Mina for the in the AEW Women's Tag Team Title Tournament. She could probably do that. If not that, I have no idea. But I think AEW has some big plans for Kris Statlander, and I think she's going to retain here.
Yeah, I totally agree. It would be just ridiculous, I think, for Kris Statlander to lose here. Part of me, I guess, almost quite similar to what you said about Mark Briscoe in the TNT Championship. Part of me could totally see AEW just putting it on Toni, but that's because I think we're just so used to Toni Storm winning and being the champion, as you brought up. She's been champion pretty much the entire time she's been in AEW, and as you said, it kind of factors in the question of what does Toni do next after this. But yeah, I think this is a going to be a big definitive win that Kris needs. I said even though she got the pinfall over Toni at All Out, it was in that fatal four way. So hopefully, like this will be a big like solidifying, cementing moment for Kris, and it's something she deserves. She's amazing. As you said, Bill's been rather weird, but it always is with Toni Storm. But yeah, it'll be. I think it'll be a really fun match. I'm really just over the moon that Kris Statlander is in fact the AEW Women's Champion. It kind of throws me off every single time I see it. She was one of my first like favorites when I first started watching AEW, back in the day. But yeah, I've got Kris here. I think it'd be a bit just nonsensical for her to lose, but I wouldn't put it past AEW.
Toni Storm's builds are really weird. Her opponents have very clear, defined characters until they face Toni Storm, and that defined gimmick and character disappears for some kind of weird lesbian thing every time. Every time they just cease to be the character they've been for ages and just become kind of Toni Storm's infatuation. It's very bizarre. I don't mind it, to be fair. I like Toni Storm best when she's got the wet blonde hair and she's got the black and white on and she looks like she's just ready to maul someone. I digress. And again, I digress to pad because there is absolutely no way Kris Statlander is losing to Toni Storm in this one. I can see a scenario where it's not a clean finish, thusly still, even though she's not the champion, protecting Toni Storm somewhat. What that shenanigan finish would be, I don't know. Whether it's some outside interference setting up Toni Storm's next thing, I don't know. Or Kris Statlander's next thing. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of slight shenanigan finish on this one, which doesn't help Statlander at all. And I don't think it should happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did. Not did. What am I saying? Yeah. So yeah, Statlander wins. Toni Storm could do what Gunther did. We all were wondering what Gunther was going to do without a title, and the answer to that was disappear. So that's go and have no surgery, apparently.
Yeah. So that's Kris Statlander and Toni Storm. I had something else I was gonna say about that match, and I completely blanked on it. So we're gonna move on to a match that could be the main event. I'm assuming that it's going to be the co-main event. That is the AEW World Championship match, Hangman Adam Page versus Samoa Joe. I say that because I think on this card, when you have a what's to be a murder fest on this show, that should be the main event because it would be really weird if you had that match and then the AEW World Title match after. Um, so I think that this should be co-main event. I think they'll be perfectly fine, or maybe even like earlier on in the card or something like that. Maybe even to kick off the show. Why the hell not, right? But if anything, co-main event. This should be fun. This should be really good. If this does end up main eventing, I can see them going as long as an hour. Um, they're just gonna they're gonna throw everything at each other. This is Samoa Joe and Hangman Adam Page. Stu, you said this on the podcast, I think a week or two ago, that whenever Samoa Joe is thrown into a world title feud, it doesn't feel wrong. Um, and it's completely right. Samoa Joe is somebody who is very believable anytime he's going after a world title. He is very believable to win that. He's won it before. I don't think he will beat Hangman Adam Page. I think Hangman Adam Page is going to come out with a victory here. He just won that in July. I don't think Samoa Joe is the person to beat him. I think it's ultimately going to end up being MJF when he returns to cash in his Casino Gauntlet thing. Um, Either way, this should be a really good match. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about this match. There's probably going to be some blood involved, but not as much as the other one, the other match that's on this card that we're going to get into. Yeah, Hangman and Page retains.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I said I've got Hangman to retain, but as you said, when Joe's just a guy and can be anyone. As soon as he gets put into the world title feud, it's like, oh yeah, Samoa Joe, of course he should be in there. I did mention my predictions once again, kind of similar to what I said earlier, that they could pull a swerve and put it on Joe because they've done it kind of in the past. But I agree. I think it's far too early into Hangman's reign, and I just don't see Joe being that guy. It'll be a very, very brutal match. It'll be a very physical match. They're just going to smash the living shit out of each other, which is something I love to see. But yeah, I think it should be Hangman. And I just hope Joe gets a good showing in there as well.
Yeah, this can't go on last. If this goes on last, they're literally going to be swimming and slipping in pools of blood. So just as safety concerns, this shouldn't go on last. And this match is going to be stiff. The problem with Hangman Page at the moment is he beat Jon Moxley for the title after Jon Moxley had held it for so long. And you kind of have to have an equally long reign to make that worthwhile. So this is why at the moment the Hangman Page title defenses aren't massively unpredictable and in fact quite predictable because he's still kind of what you'd reckon in the infancy of that long title reign. And as you say, we've also got the specter of MJF coming back at some point and doing exactly what we all know he's going to do. I also don't think Samoa Joe's helped himself get the decision, but the fact that he's pretty much come out and said, once my contract is done with AEW, I'm done. So any forward thinking has probably cancelled or gone against him on that one. So I do think Hangman Page is going to win. I do think Samoa Joe is going to be awesome as always. It's going to be a really, really good match. And as you said, Josh, this could go on for quite some time, and I don't think anybody would complain if it did. And it's going to be snug. It's going to be very stiff. It's going to be brutal. But I think Adam Page will come out winning in the end.
I think there's a similar issue across WWE and AEW you brought that was really interesting is this ideology and world we now live in of really long title reigns, and it's as if every title reign has to be, particularly when it's a world championship, which does add an element of just, you'd already know what's going to happen. It kind of takes the surprise out of it. And the perfect example, I think, at the minute is Cody Rhodes. Like, I love Cody, but like, I just never think he's going to lose
Yeah.
because it's what, as you said, we're just so used to these long ass title reigns. Like, he, was the one to dethrone Roman's reign. So, like, it had to be a long one. But now going to Cody's second one, it's like, maybe they could, but I just don't believe they're going to take him like, give him a shorter reign. It's just this weird world we now live in over these
Well,
longer.
they nearly did, though, didn't they?
Yeah,
They nearly had Drew winning that match.
yeah, they did, and then they decided to bottle it last second.
This is the only thing about the Carl Fletcher match. And
Yeah,
I was going to say it, but I forgot to say it, is I would not be adverse to Mark Briscoe winning that title because I'm not averse to a surprising title change. I think it, in the right circumstances, can be fun. It just got to such a point a few years ago, well, more than a few years ago, where title reigns were so short, it
yeah.
kind of had gone too far the wrong way. So now I think we've maybe overcorrected with really long title reigns. Now, some people that's going to suit, like Roman Reigns, it never felt too long to me. It felt right. But yeah, I think we maybe have overcorrected with now massively long title reigns. But saying that, I don't think Hangman, I don't think he should lose it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, if they don't get the main event spot, I can still see this going like a solid 20, 30 minutes. Um they're gonna throw everything at each other. That's gonna be really good. Um yeah, all in agreement that Hangman is going to retain. We then have what should be the main event of the evening, that being the I Quit match between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. Um, they these guys will probably go an hour of just trying to murder each other because um in kayfabe, and they've talked about this on TV as well, neither of these guys would want to quit. And they're gonna have to do something really, really um like really messed up for the other person to want to quit. Um It's gonna be brutal. I think that Darby Allin is going to end up winning this match. Moxley won the coffin match at All Out. It makes sense for Darby to win this. Um, in the build up to this match, over the course of the last few weeks, there's been a lot of fire involved. Like flamethrowers, the bottle, a lot of fire involved, and I think that's how this match is gonna end. I think that we're gonna see a scenario of something like Jon Moxley is handcuffed to the rope or something, and Darby Allin is going to light Moxley from his feet on fire, and the flame is just gonna gradually grow until Moxley says, "I quit." Um, this is gonna be brutal, and I love it. I'm very excited for this match. And as long as they're safe, I want this is not going to be safe. What am I talking about? I want them to just beat the ever hell out of
Not not die. That's the level we're
yeah,
going to.
just don't die. Just don't die. That's the only thing. Do whatever else. Just don't die.
Yes, I totally agree. I think Darby has to win this for me, as you said. Moxley won the coffin match, quite surprisingly, I think, but because obviously with the return of Pac, um, I think this time Darby's going to have some backup with him if in case things get a bit tasty for him in the ring. Yeah, this is going to be absolute bro. And not that I'm completely and totally comparing Darby Allin to John Cena. That's a bit absurd, which I did do earlier. But more in the sense that he just isn't going to say I quit. Now I think Moxley's in a similar vein here. But Darby's he's like a mentalist, maniacal, suicidal version of John Cena. He just will not quit. You literally have to kill him before he quits, and even at that, he won't be saying I quit. Moxley, on the other hand, whilst I think he's really similar, he also does kind of play the chicken shit heel really well, like he did during his whole title reign. Which, whilst it's still really brutal, there's still a level of just being that scared bad guy in there. And I think I can. It comes down to the fact that I can hear Moxley saying I quit way over me being able to hear Darby saying I quit. Very much looking forward to this. I second the fact that I want this to be mental, but please don't die. And also, once again, I think I say this after every pay-per-view, Moxley, go home and have a rest, please. You need it. It's okay to take some time off. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it, but I've got Darby winning here.
Okay, firstly, we need to stop calling it an I Quit match. It's a death match. This is a death match. And this is the first death match I've seen where I'm fearful somebody might legitimately die. Just because I can do more than you can do. I can take more pain than you can take. And until eventually somebody's just going to walk into the ring and shoot the other one. Is kind of maybe the only way I see this ending. I quit, get a medic. It's going to be really interesting. So I do also think, by the way, that Darby Allin's going to win. Because as we say, Moxley got the win on the last one, so it makes absolute sense that Darby Allin gets a win this time round. And then we go to a really maybe frightening third match. I don't know how you can push the envelope more. Oh, mate, honestly. Moxley, dude, just stop. Stop for a second. Everybody respects a hardworking guy, and this dude works hard. I mean, he went through the Hangman match and then the Darby Allin match and was literally on the very next Collision or Dynamite or whatever it was. It's like, mate, rest. Go. I hurt my knee. I've not been training since because I mildly sprained it. He's nearly died several times. It's going to be really interesting to see the dynamic between Moxley and the Death Riders afterwards. Because if he quits in this match, this is not the first time in the last few months that he's quit in a match. He obviously submitted in the match against Hangman Page for the title. Granted, he was being hung by his throat at the time. Like, legitimately justifiable submission. But he's leading a group of mercenaries when he has quit twice now. So that's going to be an interesting little slant to the story. But yeah, I will echo your twos. Please stay safe. Moxley, afterwards, go home. Pick up a McDonald's on your way. Go home, put your slippers on, give Renee a cuddle, and just rest. Heal, both mentally and physically. Have a bath. Put some bubbles in. Listen to Enya. And stay there for 2 months.
If he goes to McDonald's, whichever McDonald's he goes to, don't give him any forks.
I was about to ask what kitchen utensils going through Moxley's skull in this match.
All of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Have they done the pizza cutter yet in AEW? You must have.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, they have, definitely.
I actually have a funny story. I think it was a Moxley match, actually. They did the pizza.
Yeah, that's why there wouldn't have been any other choice.
So there was one time, and I'll get into my other points for this match after. I was watching AEW in the living room, and that match was on, and the pizza cutter spot came on, and my sister, that was one of the first times. This might have been like the second, third, fourth time she watched AEW with me, and she saw that. Till this day, she is traumatized. And I I would love to see another pizza cutter in this one. What's even funnier about that is that they had a Domino's pizza commercial right after that. Um, there was a lot of heat from that. But yeah, this should be a pretty good match. Really brutal. and I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, like both of you guys said, Moxley needs to get some rest. I can see a world where he does quit, he goes away. You have Pac or maybe like Claudio as like the temporary leaders for the Death Riders. They do some good things while he's gone. Moxley comes back, and then there's the friction there. Like, you've been gone for a few months now. We've handled ourselves well. We don't really need you. Um, and maybe we get a John Moxley babyface turn. That's very possible. Because the Death Riders are very hated, and I don't think Wheeler Yuta can ever be a babyface in his life. Um, so yeah. Um, there was a point that I wanted to make about another match on this card. Did you guys have any other thoughts on this match?
No, just stay safe, Moxley, please. And Darby, but like it's
Yeah.
fine.
I want to jump on your Moxley goes home for a while and Cesaro or Puck end up the sort of de facto leader for a while. I don't think it'll be either of those two. I got a big case for Daniel Garcia might step into that role quite nicely.
Right, yeah. Right, yeah.
I know he's quite new, but he does have that personality, that kind of charisma,
Yeah.
I think, to step into that role better than Cesaro and Pat could. And I think that would be a massively interesting dynamic when Moxley comes back. A bit more interesting, I think, than either Claudio or Pac doing it. When you wake up sometimes in the morning and you dread going to work, you're like, I can't be asked to go to work today. Do you imagine what those two are going to wake up thinking the morning of this show? Just like, this is going to hurt so much. All those cracking ideas I came up with yesterday, I'm now massively regretting.
I
My
doubt
God.
Darby's gonna show up to the arena. All right, guys, I'm excited. What are we doing?
So I don't even want to
You
know
got to
what's
have
for his brain.
oh man, you got to have a certain disposition, haven't you?
My favorite like character in wrestling is Renee Paquette tweeting during a John Moxley match, basically being like, "Why am I married to this man?"
That's got to be hard for her to watch, isn't it?
I know it's always really funny. I find in the pre-shows what they do. Where obviously, especially when he was world champion and Moxley was literally like the most dastardly man in the world, and then it'd be like Brian Danielson would be like, "So Renee, what do you think?" And she's like, "Well, obviously it's hard for me to be objective here. I don't always agree with John's tactics, but he is my husband."
I know he tried to kill several people in the ring.
Yeah, so very much Brian's like he did try and murder me, and Renee's like, I apologize for that.
It's just John being John. Oh.
So I wanted to circle back to Thekla and Jamie Hayter because I had a couple things that I wanted to bring up that I completely blanked on. Um, Very rare that we see a non-gimmick, no title women's match on a pay-per-view, and I think that we need more of that. Um, do you guys know the last non-gimmick, no title match that we've had on a AEW pay-per-view?
Bloody double or nothing 2019.
It was it was actually Full Gear 2022 Saraya versus Dr. Britt Baker.
Damn, that's
Um,
a hell of a long
so
time.
yeah,
Do
that's
you know what? I genuinely just thought Rue was going to be right. Because honestly, if Rue would have just said double or nothing 2019, I would have even checked. I'd have been like, yeah, I totally take on board what Rue's just said there.
yeah, so I just wanted to give that a quick shout because I feel like we should have like we need to normalize women's grudge matches without a title. Um, I
I
think it just needs to happen
100% agree.
often. Um, but that is our AEW WrestleDream 2025 predictions. Let us know your thoughts as well. We always love hearing you guys' opinions as well. This weekend we are doing a different type of podcast where On TikTok, myself, Stu, and Rue will be posting TikToks asking for you guys' hot takes. So make sure you guys go over to all of our TikTok pages and let us know your hot takes. All the pages are in the description below on every podcast, whether you're on YouTube or Spotify. So make sure you guys go ahead and give us your hot takes. And this weekend we will be going over all you guys' hot takes. So yeah, and we will probably read your username in the video, and if your hot take is not a great one, you you will get roasted.
You will get roasted.
So just prepare for that. So
I've taken great pains to tell people that on my post. There is a chance we might slightly destroy you, but it will be fun.
So yeah, once those TikToks are up, I am probably going to be posting mine tomorrow. Rue, I think you said you're posting yours tomorrow as well.
Yep.
Stu, are you posting yours tomorrow as well?
Or I might just do mine tonight because obviously I've done all the work and stuff tomorrow, so I might do mine tonight.
Fair enough. Yeah, if I have time tonight, I will post it. I can't see myself paying much attention to TNA anyway. So I don't know how I'm still affiliated with these guys. I talk so much shit about their weekly shows, but they need to get better. They really do. But yeah, that is our predictions for AEW WrestleDream 2025. Make sure you guys to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos, podcasts, and interviews. Like I just mentioned, make sure you guys go follow Rue on Wrestling and Stu World Order on TikTok. And Rue on Wrestling and Stu World Order on YouTube as well. Rue just created a YouTube channel, so make sure you guys go show him some love and support as well. Yeah, that is our predictions. Let us know your predictions and your thoughts in the comment section below. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.